Hello and welcome to episode 63 of the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your host, Howard Kravitz. Thank you for joining me for tonight's live Pick 5 at the Spa for Friday. A lot of ways to get in touch with the show. A lot of you know the drill already. You could reach me on Twitter at hkravitz. Email me, hkravitzhorse@gmail.com. Please make sure you have subscribed right there on the right side of the screen. Hit that notification bell. And also, pound that thumbs up button. Pound it. Pound it so we can get a lot of likes on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 of the last 3 days, we have crushed this pick 5 using an ABC ticket. I really hope you're using the ABC ticket maker method because right now, starting to catch fire. Listen, we haven't scored for thousands of dollars yet, but you're going to take what you can get at Saratoga. Hit the late pick 5 today for 470. Wish I had it more than once, but listen, I'll take one time. That's just fine. Hope you hit it today. And if you are just joining me once again, I had a wonderful live stream show on the flagship show with derbyologist Craig Johnson. He was a great guest. We chopped up the late pick 5 at Del Mar for Saturday. So if you missed that, please make sure and check out the video. It is already up on my YouTube channel right now, episode 62, with Craig Johnson, derbyologist. We chopped up the late pick 5 at Del Mar. I don't have a banner for this, but I just want to mention again, episode 62, if you go to it, open up the video, look below the video player, and in the comment section, type in your winner for the Eddie Reed Stakes, which I believe is race, let me look that up, which is race 8 for Saturday. Type in your winner for the Eddie Reed, race 8, and you have to do this also as a tiebreaker, the final time of the race. It's a mile and eighth on turf. With using 2 decimal places to going to the hundredths. Whoever picks the winner and whoever is closest to the final time of the Eddie Reed will be my guest on this show. Will be right here with me next Thursday night on the HHH Racing Podcast. Again, you're going to put your prediction of the Eddie Reed and the final time below the video player, not of this video, but of the one right before this, episode 62. So please make sure you do that. Put your pick in by, noon, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or, 2 o'clock the latest Eastern Standard Time by Saturday. We have a lot of people joining the show. Dean, on again. Dean, appreciate we're doing a little doubleheader tonight. Dean was listening to my show that I just finished. Dean, sure, you can ask. Let me take a look. Hold on a second. My ABC ticket, let me look, was $163. Was my own personal ABC ticket today at Saratoga was $163. And we had I think it was $470, I believe it paid. So listen, I'll take that. It's all good. The 11 in the last race, who I thought was interesting, I talked about the 11 yesterday, actually ran well. He was like 12 to 1 morning line. That would have paid like 800. I had some other horses that would have paid in the thousands, but unfortunately one of the lower chalks got home. But that's the way it goes. Listen, I'm just happy to cash any pick 5, especially at Saratoga. So, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, we have a lot of people watching the show. Thank you very much. We're going to jump right in, and you'll have to give me one quick second here as I go behind the scenes because I did not have a chance to get the PPs up. So as I'm doing that, again, the weather tomorrow is supposed to be just fine at Saratoga. There's a smaller chance of rain, but I think the weather's going to be just fine tomorrow. We shouldn't have to worry ourselves with anything like that. All right, there you go. There are the PPs for Saratoga tomorrow. Let me get my pickup for the first leg. Again, thank you very much for joining me tonight as you'll see my ABC opinions. Again, any questions, comments, concerns, anything you'd like to talk about horse racing or more, in more particular, this pick 5 tomorrow at Saratoga, because I'm assuming many of you have looked at it, and if you've not looked at it, that is absolutely okay as well. The pick 5 starts in race 6. This is on the inner turf. This is a marathon race, 3 turns. They're going a mile and a half on the turf. It's for 3-year-olds and up, optional 80 claimers, non-winners of 2 other than lifetime. My top choices, I have 2 of them as A's. Kentucky Ghost, 92 for Vicky Oliver. Johnny V in the saddle. This horse is doing very well. Ran a good 5th to an extremely talented horse in set piece, and some like it Hot Brown, Ride a Comet. There are none of those in that race at all. If Kentucky Ghost can run the race that he ran last time, he's going to win this race. Has been working steadily in Kentucky. Vicky Oliver ships the horse here up to Saratoga. This is a borderline stakes horse. Quality, nice horse. Kentucky Ghost, one of my top choices. And my other top choice would be number 7, A Journey to Freedom, who has been in grade 3s and has run very well. Just hasn't quite gotten there, but we'll have no issue with the distance. Ran 2 miles last time for Michael Maker. A Journey to Freedom can also win. As my B horses, I've got the 2, Jay's Solitude, a little bit cheaper to me, but has some nice figs, can clearly win. Is a very consistent horse, only 3 for 20, however. And then the 3, Karam, for Safi Joseph. And the reason why I like this horse, although I don't think this horse quite classes up, but has early speed. And there's not a lot of early speed in this race. If Karam wires the field and I don't have him, I'm going to go nutso for Claiborne Farm. So the way New York goes, this horse could walk on the lead and wire the field easily, although I don't think he's as good as some others in here. And then also I have Opry as a C horse, by the way. The 5 is a C for Pletcher. I also, have Dot Matrix as a B horse, as in boy, for Brad Cox. He's getting long in the tooth. He's an 8-year-old. I don't love him, but he's capable on his best day. And also the 11, He's No Lemon, a bit inconsistent. Really thought highly of this horse a little bit earlier in his career, but he sort of leveled out. I've got him as a B, as in boy. I can move He's No Lemon down to a C. I really like 4-7 in this race, and I got to say, I like the 4 quite a bit, Kentucky Ghost. If I get 4 to 1, 9 to 2, I'd probably put a win bet on him. This is a pretty wide open race, though. Tough way to start this pick 5 sequence. Again, and your opinions are more than welcome. Please make sure you chat there on the right side of the screen so we can have a great conversation. Christine, thank you very much for joining the show. Appreciate it. You said it's still daytime where you live. I'd love to know where you're from, Christine. That would be fantastic. But thank you very much for joining our chat tonight. Jim, joining the show. He played one of the ABC tickets that I had. Guess which one? I'm not sure. I hope it was one of the ones that I cashed. 2 of the last 3 days, the ABC ticket has hit. So he probably played the one that didn't hit, would be my guess, knowing Jim. But anyway, thanks for joining the show, Jim. Greatly appreciate it. Let's go on to the next race of the sequence. This is race 7, 6 furlongs on the dirt. Restricted claimers, 16,000. Non-winners of 2 lifetime. I'll go ahead and switch so you can see my picks, everyone. There's my A, B's, and C's. And listen, you have to take stands, folks. You have to take stands in horse racing. You should probably be taking stands in life in general. I'm taking a big stand here. The 10 horse in this race to me seems very obvious. Many of these other horses other races are big time spread races. To me, the 10 absolutely stands out. I'm not saying anything that you don't already know. Air Show is 8 to 5 morning line for Tom Amos, who's 2 for 7 at Saratoga, has Jose Ortiz. This horse is dropping down to 16. That is a concern for me, but Tom Amos is an excellent trainer. I think he just is putting this horse in a spot where he thinks he can win. Um, and he lays over the field by the early Timeform US and by the buyers. I think the 10 with any decent trip is going to be very tough to beat in this race. As you can see, I have no B's at all. Extreme backups, I'd use the 8 Deputy Flag, who also has a lot of speed, but is 1 for 15 and looks like cannot pass a parked car. I think the 10 is just going to sit off the 8 and go by. The 8 does not look like he has a lot of fight in him. So if the 8 has to battle, I don't think he has much of a chance at all. I have a complete wacko horse in this race. And I could be completely out to lunch on this horse, but I want to mention this horse in case this horse clunks up and you can thank me later. The number 3, Tano. What's my angle on this horse? There's a lot of speed in this race, okay? A lot of speed. This is one of the few horses in the race that looks like he can actually close. He's only a 3-year-old gelding. One first time out. Okay, that was a maiden 25 state bred. Did it very nicely, though. Won by 5. Then the next race, finished third in a much, much tougher field. Then the last 2 races, the last race was not very good, but was up closer to the pace, not where the source wants to be. And then I'm going to toss the last race out on the slop. I don't think the 3 can win this race, to be very honest, but I think this horse could be a total bomb to spice up your tries. So I just want to mention the 3 again. Don't put your rent money on the 3, but if you're a trifecta player or maybe even an exacta, 10-3 exacta, or maybe 10 with a bunch of horses, keying the 3 and third, this horse is going to be every bit of 20 to 1. I just want to mention the 3 is an interesting long shot possibility underneath only, though, for sure. Christine, you're on the West Coast. Great. I hope you're going to play that late Del Mar pick 5, watching episode 62 that we talked about on Saturday. The only issue I've had with Del Mar, unfortunately, Christine, is sometimes they have smaller fields. And of course, they're only racing 3 times a week, which is really disappointing because the field sizes are a little bit smaller. Just the horse population in California right now is just not very good. I love everything about California racing except the horse population. That's why they're going 3 days a week in Del Mar so they can have bigger fields in their races. But thanks for joining me on the show. I'm actually going to be out in California next weekend. I'm going to the Monterey Peninsula to play some golf out there. So I'm very excited to go out to California next weekend, by the way. I'll talk more about that on my shows next week. Let's go ahead to the next race of the sequence. This is race 8. I'm going to go ahead and get my picks up there on the screen. Race 8, you can see my picks right there. This is a 7-furlong dirt race for 3-year-olds and up, state bred, allowance horses, non-winners of 1 other than. I thought this is a pretty difficult race in general. My 2 top choices would be the 6, Big Bobby. I do not like the 8 to 5 morning line. I would never, ever bet this horse on the win end at 8 to 5. But he's been very good in his first 2 starts for Bill Mott. Lost to an extremely talented horse called River Dog in his first race, which was an extremely live New York bred race, and then came back and won in the mud with an 83 buyer. This is a very talented 3-year-old New York bred for Bill Mott. This is a tougher field than he faced last time. However, this horse has a lot of upside and can easily win this race. The other horse I'd use as an A is the 8, Devil's Code. 3 for 5 in the money lifetime. Maybe a little bit slower. Did run an 84 2 back. Again, I love the outside post. I like Dylan Davis. I like the horse can absolutely get the distance. The sire is Honor Code out of an Uncle Mo mare. The Devil wears nada. So Devil Code would be an A for me as well. As B's, I'd use the 7, Judge and Jury. Coming off a long layoff, but was very good last year for Danny Gargan. Could be a very talented horse still, only a 3-year-old, has been gelded. And also the 1/9 hour. This is an Orlando Noda claim. This barn is heating up a little bit. Won a race on opening day, has figs that fit. There's other horses that I won't mention in detail, but a complete bomb. And I mentioned a bomb in the last race. Here's another bomb that I think could get into the try. Troubleshooter. This is a closer who did very well last year as a 3-year-old at Finger Lakes and Belmont, and then was absolutely awful in his 2 starts. My guessing is something went wrong. Maybe didn't like the really cold weather at Aqueduct. Listen, Jeremiah Engelhardt can get a horse ready. The horse is working well. The horse has back numbers. He can close into a fast pace. Distance is not a problem. 20 to 1 underneath, I say why not? Troubleshooter could easily, to me, clunk up for third and spice up your tries. This horse to me is interesting. I also have the 3 and the 5 as possible seahorses, but I would mainly go 6, 8 in race 8. Just looking through the comments here very briefly. Just Christine mentioned about my vacation. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, Christina. I'm looking forward to that. Let's go ahead to race 9. This is probably the toughest race of the sequence, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we have a lot of people watching the show. Again, thank you. Please make sure you chat. Dean G wants to know why 5 is a C in race 8. Let me go back to that race very briefly. Dean, are you saying the horse should be higher or not at all? I'm not sure. You'll have to clarify more. I don't like the fact this horse. Yeah, I mean the horse is fine. Got an 80 and a 79, but seems cheaper to me. Yes, those were open company, but was in condition claimers, Dean. So I don't know. This horse doesn't do much for me. I'm assuming that means you like the horse more than I do. I just think there are lightly raced horses to me that are a lot more interesting. Dean said he likes the horse as a B. That's fine. Again, we're splitting hairs. B, C. It does make a difference, obviously. I like more lightly raced horses, Dean. I'm not sure this horse isn't as talented. That's my angle there. Let me go ahead and put my banner back up. There we go. There are my picks for race 9 as I switch to that. This is a very difficult race. Wide open, and it's a stake race. They're on the inner turf. They're going 1 mile for restricted 3-year-old fillies. This is the East Coast version of the San Clemente, which is a restricted 3-year-old fillies race that's happening at Del Mar on Saturday. This is the East Coast version. It's the Grade 3 Lake George Stakes. I have 3 horses that I'd like to use as my A's here. The 5, Jouster, will absolutely have the lead unless she doesn't break. Last time I thought a mile and 1/8 is just too far. It was also a very wet turf course. I think this horse will be better on a drier turf course, and I think she wants to go shorter. She's going to have the lead. She's pretty darn good. If she gets loose for Saez, she can absolutely win. There are several Chads in this race. I'm not going to show replays tonight, but Amy C. Actually, I will show one quick replay. Amy C. won her first race in North America last time. Take a look at this start for Amy C. Amy C. is the 2 horse in this race. And, she was coming from Europe. Certainly some horses break slow. This horse not only broke slow, but you see sort of steadied back a little bit and was all the way back there in last place. But don't worry, into a slow pace, by the way. But don't worry, because Amy C, as you see there, coming to the outside for Chad Brown, ran a huge final quarter, swinging out. Obviously, the horses in this race that she's beating are not nearly as good as the horses she's facing tomorrow. But Amy C with a very impressive close after a rough start. She could be any kind. She's very talented, obviously, for Chad Brown, and went on to win this race nicely. So Amy C, one of my choices tomorrow, along with anyone else who's named Amy. The other Chad Brown likes the 8. Technical analysis, 4-1 morning line. Got a bit of a rough trip last time, was wide on the first turn, wide on the second turn, didn't have her normal kick. I think Jose is going to try to get this horse covered up this time and come with her run. She's very live. There are many other horses that you can use in this race, just very briefly. The one Demagogue is a nice horse for Rudy Brissett from Kentucky. Runaway Rumor for Jorge Abreu is undefeated. I could go on and on. There are a lot of horses in this race that are very interesting. To me, you absolutely need to spread in this race. In fact, I know some people might consider hitting the all button. I'm not an all button kind of guy, but I will say I wouldn't blame anyone for going very, very deep in this race. But my top choices would be 5, 6, and 8. Joe wants to mention Demagogue Devy for the lead. Demagogue can absolutely get the lead, as I show the PPs on the screen there again. Demodog has a 97 early time form pace figure. Joe, let me just scroll down to see who else would be close to that. Jouster's got a 105. Jouster's going to have the lead. Demodog is not fast enough. There is also another speed in this race, I think. Yeah, Navratilova, the 9's got a 103, Joe. So, again, I think there is speed in this race. I'd be very surprised, frankly, if Demodog has the lead. But if she sits in the pocket and gets a nice stalking trip, I think she is definitely a player tomorrow. I think she's actually pretty talented. Let's go ahead to the last race. I'm going to go ahead and give you my opinions there. There's, you see my ABC for the last race of the sequence. I'm going to go ahead and switch. This is a 5.5 furlong turf sprint for maiden 50, 3-year-olds and up. I thought this is a pretty tough race, but I'm going to take stands with 2 horses, actually 3 horses. You'll see what I mean. The number 1, the flat one, is Thrill for George Weaver, coming off a very long layoff, but has some decent works, puts Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle, and George Weaver is good off of layoffs. This horse is dropping down from main special into main 50. And if she cannot win the race, perhaps her stablemate, who I assume will be in the race, the 1A, Miss Domina, who has recency at Gulfstream Park, can win the race for Luis Saez. So, again, I think this coupling 1 definitely can win the race. They both can show speed. It'll be interesting to see. If one of them scratches, I would downgrade this coupling. Again, if one of them scratches, I would downgrade the coupling. I really not sure who I prefer, to be very honest. I suppose I prefer the 1A because of the recency. But if the flat one is scratched, I might move the number 1 to a B, personally. I like the 6 actually quite a bit. The 6 to me is a very interesting horse in this race that you're going to get a price. Normally, I would be completely against an 0 for 8. But look carefully. Closer to the Heart, by the way, for Motion and Jose Ortiz, has only run twice on turf. And her only race in a turf sprint, she got a 71 buyer at Belmont, going 6 furlongs. That would easily, in my opinion, be good enough to win this race. I'm tossing out the last race at Pimlico. I don't think she wants to go long. There is a lot of speed in this race. The 3, who I have as a B for Wesley Ward, is going to show a lot of speed. You know the 1s are going to show speed for sure. The 8 has some early speed. The 10 has early speed. If this thing heats up, it's going to heat up for a closer. There are not a lot of closers in this race, and this number 3 back by Closer to the Heart has me very interested. A lot of things would have to set up right for the 6, but I like Closer to the Heart as a price in the last race tomorrow. I'd also use the 2 High Fair as a B. This is the other Wesley Ward. I prefer the 2 High Fair more than the 3 because I think it's going to set up better for the 2. I'm not a huge fan of turf turnbacks, to be very honest with you, but I like Rosario. I think this horse is going to come flying late if the pace heats up. And again, I'd also use the 8 Artie is the Party, who has an outside post, second time on the turf, also turning back. Again, not a huge fan of turnbacks, but this horse's style, where she shows a lot of speed and then quits, I think is going to be well suited to a turf sprint with Jose Lascano, who's riding very well. But this is a tricky last race. I would go probably as deep as possible as I could here in the last race of the pick 5. I do have a caveman ticket I'd like to show you. There's my caveman ticket. But again, folks, I'm going to go ahead and put myself on full screen here. Again, I prefer ABC tickets. Don't be discouraged if these caveman tickets don't hit. I don't play caveman tickets. I put them out there for people that want to play cheaper tickets, don't want to spend probably as much money, or don't understand or don't know how to use the ABC ticket maker method. But if I had to use a caveman ticket, there would be, I think the 10 in leg 2 would absolutely be a single for sure. I had 2 singles in my caveman ticket yesterday for today's pick 5. One of them won, the other one did not. I probably went too many deep in the last leg of the pick 5 for my caveman ticket yesterday. I do like my caveman tickets that I'm giving out today for tomorrow, but again, I would prefer to play an ABC ticket. I think that's the best way to go. There's a $72 caveman ticket for tomorrow. Any final comments, concerns? Let's see. We've got Dean Lascano first time and Lascano on the turf for the number 9. Listen, it's a wide open race. Again, there's a lot of different ways you can go in that last race. Let me just mention briefly, because I did not mention it on this show, we got a lot of things going on other than tonight. Again, tomorrow and Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, usual time for pick 5 at the spa for the following pick 5s. And then as you see at the bottom of the screen, very important show Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Nancy Lasalo, who's the board president for the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund, the PDJF, and her husband, former jockey, very successful jockey in the Chicago area, Jerry Lasala, will be on the show also on Monday night to talk about the PDJF. We'll have a chance to talk to a former jockey so we can ask a lot of jockey questions. Please join me for a great fundraiser Monday night as well, 8 p.m. Eastern, to benefit the PDJF. I'd really appreciate if you did that. And Michael Bryan, I see your comment. Thank you, Michael, as always, for joining the show. That is going to be it for episode 63 of the HHH Racing Podcast Pick 5 at the Spa for tomorrow's late Pick 5 Friday. Hopefully you'll watch the show later tonight if you're not watching it live, or you'll watch it tomorrow on Friday. Please spread the word about the HHH Racing Podcast. Would greatly appreciate it. This has been Howard Kravitz, your host. Good luck on that Pick 5 tomorrow at the Spa. Take care, everyone. Good night.